Good day, and welcome to the Impact Investing Show with your host, Samuel Ikhinmwin, Ikhinmwin. Guys, it's episode 66. I hope you're ready to go for today's show. Today, we're going to be speaking about what we've finally actually found that we have in common between myself and Phil Spencer in terms of our actual ideas on property investing. So I hope you're buckling your seatbelt and I hope you're actually truly ready to go for this evening's show. Guys, it's 7 p.m. We're back again. Guys, last week, those of you who know, we had to do our show a little bit earlier. We was on the midday show. It was a lunchtime, afternoon show, but it still went really, really well. I thought the show last week was absolutely amazing. Probably one of our best episodes yet. So if you haven't watched episode 65, I would encourage you to go and watch episode 65 after today's episode, where we were breaking down last week about the next generation of property investing success and how all of that works. Guys, if you haven't met me before, I'm Samuel Ikhinmwin. I'm going to be your property coach on tonight's session, and I'm looking forward to taking some of you on this property journey with me to help you understand how you can get creative property investing on demand. If you have not subscribed to this channel, you know you need to hit that subscribe button. Side by side with that, if you're going to get any value throughout tonight's show, feel free to hit that like button and just let the YouTube world know that this is the place to be. So welcome to the show. Guys, if you're tuning in brand new for the first time, it's your first ever time joining us on this show live, what I'd love for you to do is let us know in the live chat by writing the simple word new. As you can see, we've already got people in the live chat who are already getting the conversation ready to go, and I'm looking forward to jumping into the chat in a short while. So again, like I said, this is the YouTube channel where you get creative property investing on demand. So if you haven't been here before, welcome. It's great to have you on. And like I said, it's episode 66. So for some of you, you might be saying to yourself, Samuel, how did we get here? How did you get all the way to the 66th episode of this show? And look, guys, it's quite simple just to break it down to you. The way we actually got to the 66th episode of this show is through means of the fact that I used to host one of the largest networking events for property investors in the UK. In the location of Canary Wharf, we would host over 100 guests every single month at our networking event. And basically what would happen at the end of every single networking event is I would have queues of 20 people, 30 people, sometimes 40 people waiting at the end of the event to ask me questions about their property journey. Samuel, how do I do this? Samuel, how do I do that? And lo and behold, in 2020, the month of March, we were told that we had to lock down. And as a direct result of having to lock down, one of the things that came as a direct byproduct of that is that queue of people that I used to help every single month absolutely had to disappear. Yes, we went online, we started networking online, but for me, it just was not the same. And I don't know if you feel the same, if since last March 2020, you felt the same about the difference between live networking and online networking. Let me know in the comments. Again, if you're watching on the replay, let us know in the comments below. If you're with us live, let us know live. Now, because I felt that disconnect from my community, from the people I really wanted to engage with and help move further, faster in their property investing journey, I said to my team, I said, guys, what can we do to actually help people continue to move forward in their property journey, even though we don't have that physical interaction? And the thing that was interesting is I continue to have people reaching out to me on direct messages through Instagram, through Facebook, through LinkedIn, through WhatsApp, you know, saying, Samuel, I need help with this. Samuel, I need help with that. But my question was, I can't take all of those messages. You know, my challenge was I can't take all of those phone calls. So I said to my team, guys, what can we do? What can we do to actually help these people continually move further, faster in their property investing journey? And my team came up with a great idea. They said, Samuel, all you need to do is make yourself available on a regular basis in order to help these people answer their questions and strategize through the storm. And yes, in 2020 March, it was a storm that many people were going through. And thankfully and gratefully now, it's not so much of a storm as it was. So what we did in March of 2020 is we started the Impact Show, where every single week, back to back for 66 weeks now, continuously we've shown up online, giving you guys our time in order to help you strategize through your property storms. And obviously we started off with the strategy and the storm sessions, and then we transitioned that into what we have today, which is actually just a live show where we just show up live, we give you guys value, we help you guys on your property investing journey. So guys, if you are with us, buckle up your seatbelt, make sure you've got your notepads, your iPads, your styluses, your pens, your papers, and you're ready to go, ready to take notes. Let me know if you're ready to take notes. If you're ready to take notes, let me see that in the chat. Samuel, I'm ready to take notes. And let's sound the gong because it's about to be on. All right. Now, with all of that being done, let's jump into today's episode. We've got so much value to share with you. First thing I want to jump in by sharing with you guys is what we shared last week or over the last couple of weeks. One of our episodes of these live shows over the last couple of weeks was all about the 3 keys to every sale. Okay, and I've been speaking about that specific live show episode for about the last 3 episodes because that specific episode was a game changer. Now, I have private coaching clients who I teach that principle to, and very rarely do I share that openly on a free platform. But we shared the 3 keys to every sale very recently on one of our live shows, which helps you understand how you can negotiate better in any scenario. So I'm not even interested in whether you're trying to buy a brand new car, whether you're trying to buy a brand new house, whether you're trying to buy whatever it is. It might even be socks, guys. If you understand the 3 keys to every sale that I broke down in that live stream, you will move further faster in your property investing journey and probably any other journey you're in where you are actively buying something. The second episode I just want to bring your attention to is we had an episode previously called the 4 ways to improve your property investing journey. Now, really, if I'm going to be honest with you, that episode was probably for my more advanced property investors that follow me on this journey. Those people who have been doing this for a number of years, those people who have 7, 8, maybe more than that in terms of the amount of properties they have in their portfolio, whether it be owned or controlled. Okay, but let me say that again. 4 ways that you can improve your property investing journey. That live stream, okay, 2 hours of content is one that you need to make sure that you go and watch, because when you watch that live stream, what you're going to find is there was so much value shared in that for the more advanced investor and also for people that are starting out, but predominantly for the more advanced investor, that you'll be able to grapple with those ideas and fine tune your own strategies and move way forward in your property investing. So guys, if you're looking forward to going back to those specific previous episodes, I want you to put the letters PE, previous episodes, PE, okay, physical education, but PE in the chat, okay? If I see the letters PE in the chat, then I know that the community are going to do their homework and jump into the previous episodes in order to get even more value. Now, the last previous episode I want to mention before we go full speed ahead, okay, before we jump on the property train, is last week's episode 65. Guys, listen, if you are in the live stream right now, if you're with me right now, right here, okay, and you were part of last week's episode, we streamed at 12 p.m, okay, GMT, British time. If you were with us last week, okay, episode 65, and you got value, all I want you to do is write in the chat one word. And you know what the word is. Write in the chat the word value, okay? Last week, guys, we spoke about the next generation of success. I was breaking down principles that we are supposed to learn from the next generation, the Gen Z or whatever you call them, I generation, etc. But I was also breaking down not only what we're supposed to learn from that generation, but what we are supposed to be mature enough, responsible enough to actually deliver to that generation, how we are supposed to set that generation in the right direction in order for them to succeed in their property investing success. So that episode 65, was actually a crucial episode for those people who follow me who say, oh, Samuel, I'm all about legacy. I'm all about the next gen. I'm all about, doing this for my children. Guys, listen, I hear a lot of people telling me they are doing what they're doing for the next generation, okay? But the reality is, if you are really, okay, I'm going to say that one more time. If you are really doing what you're doing for the next generation will get to a stage where they will actually thank you. You see, they'll get to a stage where they'll be like, you know what? If it wasn't for Uncle Samuel, if it wasn't for my father, if it wasn't for my uncle, my auntie, my this, my that, I wouldn't be able to say. And this is the reality. This is the reality. The next generation are waiting upon us. The next generation are banking on us. And the question is, are you bankable? Okay, you should write that down. You should be one of those avid students who joins these streams knowing that Samuel's going to ask those hard questions and expect you to come up with answers. Now, you don't have to come up with answers on the live stream. That's okay. This ain't about pressure. But you should come up with answers in your own personal and private time. Definitely. You should say to yourself, am I bankable? You know, you should have your notebook and you should write that down, and you should ask yourself after the show, am I bankable? Maybe as I'm saying it right now, you should ask yourself, am I bankable? Can the next generation bank on you? Okay, because I spend a lot of my time trying to ensure that the next generation can bank on me. And that's part of the reason we do this show. That's part of the reason we have the live stream. That's part of the reason we do exactly what we do here, because we are keen to put the next generation in a position where they can say to themselves, you know what, I actually look forward to seeing the value that I got from this particular person or that particular person in my journey. And guys, we want to be that particular person for our community. All right. So with all of that being said, guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, if you haven't pressed like, if you haven't written a comment in the chat, you know what to do. Let me know, let the YouTube world know that you're with us, that you're rocking with us, that you're on this journey with us. Don't forget to leave a comment and say hi. Side by side with that, you know all the other things you can do, guys. You can hit the like button, you can press subscribe, because this is the place where you get creative property investing on demand. Now, with all of that being said, let us jump into what we have got in store for you on today's show. I'd like to also give a great big shout out to every single person who's joining us live, to every single person who has subscribed to our channel, and to all of those people who have paid it forward through means of donations and also utilization of our Amazon wish list. So if you're one of those people, or you're one of those people who are planning to be one of those people, links in the description. And a great big thank you to you guys for being a part of our community. You are the people that make the show happen. You're the people that keep the show alive. You're the people that keep the show in its flow. So let's make sure we continue to do this all together now, as they sing with the I think it's the England football cheer, all together now. Anyway, let me jump into the disclaimer before you guys start telling me off talking about England football team and you know, some of the silly occurrences that we've had going on lately with all of that. Anyway, disclaimer for the show. All information provided and results given are exemplary. Each person's results may vary or differ. Results are based on consistent, let me say that one more time, consistent implementation of strategies, and we advise that you, yes you, always seek legal and financial advice from a qualified professional. Okay, I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you understand that, guys, you still got to do what you still got to do. Okay, you still got to do your due diligence, still got to check things out. But I'm just here, guys, to give you guys value from my experience, from my journey, from my over a decade of coaching people in their property journeys, and help you also to move forward. I got my man Yogesh in the chat. He says not his first time. Welcome to the chat, Yogesh. Welcome to the show. Great to have you on again. And I'm now seeing even earlier comments. I see Yogesh said hello earlier on. Hello to you, Yogesh. Great to have you on the show. Always a pleasure. Yogesh is one of our regular viewers, so always great to have Yogesh on the show and to welcome him to the show. Now, guys, let me ask you this: Have you filled out the poll? Have you filled out the poll? There's also in the live chat, for those of you who are joining us live, there is also a poll in the live chat. So we are very interested in your opinion about the question that we've actually asked in the live chat. Now, I know that most people who engage with our content, especially on our live stream, do so through mobile devices. Okay, this is something I was informed of recently, that mobile devices are predominantly the main way in which people engage with our show. So if you're on mobile, hopefully you can still access the poll. Okay, but the poll has a question that the team put together and wanted to ask our community to find out from you guys, like what your actual thoughts are about that specific thing. So guys, let us know in the chat your thoughts and feelings about the question that we've placed in there, because it is very important to us. Now, let's keep going. Some of you would have seen the thumbnail. Okay. Some of you would have seen the thumbnail. And some of you who weren't here last week may not have known about some of the changes that we're actually having on the show. So one of the changes that we've decided on the show is all around how we do Q&A on the show. Now, we are still very keen to help people. We're still very keen to support people move further, faster in their property investing journey. But we're trying to do that in ways which support the channel as well, and not just support the free giving of information to people who aren't necessarily helping to build the channel. So what we want you guys to do is understand, first and foremost, if you have specific questions, we would love for you guys to utilize the Pay It Forward donation link in the chat so that you can actually contribute to the development of the channel as well as get your questions answered. Now, we totally understand that some people are starting from a place in their property journey where maybe they just don't have any money, and that's cool. So for those people, what we want you to do is please allow us to answer your questions after the prioritized people who have subscribed, donated, and given and invested to the channel in some way, shape, or form. We just want to set that precedence up so it's easier for everyone to understand how the show can go on in a very successful fashion. Now, today's show, we're speaking about something that myself and the man, the television man, Mr. Phil Spencer, actually have found a common ground to agree on. And the thing that's quite interesting is, for those of you who don't know who Phil Spencer is, some of you may have not been watching Location, okay? A British, again, for those of you who are not from Britain, it's okay. But Philip Spencer and Kirsty both are the co-stars of, I guess, the hit series in the UK known as Location, where they talk about property, not specifically from an investing standpoint, but more so from a home ownership standpoint. And they speak about the locations across the UK where people are interested in potentially purchasing property. And they usually work with clients. So most people who are tuning into this, I know from our analytics on our channel, are two things. Okay, and this is important to say. Most of our current viewers are based in the UK. That's one thing our YouTube analytics shows us. But the second thing our YouTube analytics actually shows us is that many of the people who actually tune in to our show are not subscribed. So you know what I'm going to ask you to do right now. But anyway, the point I'm making in that regard is that, guys, I want you to understand that for many of you who live in the UK, you do know about Location, the show. You're familiar with it. And if you are familiar with it, then you definitely know who Philip Spencer is. Now, Philip Spencer is he's a TV personality, okay, and I'll use that terminology. So this is part of the reason why the team put together the question that we actually have in the poll, because that question is actually prying into your perception of how you see TV personalities, how they talk about property, and whether it's actually genuine, whether it's relevant, whether it's connected, whether it's real as it pertains to what you're trying to do in your journey, invest in property realistically. Okay, because it's all fair and well to watch things like last week. We kind of touched on Homes Under the Hammer, not in an extensive way, but in a brief way. We spoke about one of my coaching clients who I was working with in the year 2017, who had one of her goals that she wrote down with me on our program was to be able to be featured in Homes Under the Hammer, her favorite show from prior to her getting invested in property with me. And we were able to achieve that goal. By the time she finished her 12-month coaching program with me, she was featured on the Homes Under the Hammer show with Dion Dublin and the other actors on the show. Now, the reason this is all important is because our personalities, let me put it this way, the television personalities have an effect on our perceptions as we invest in property. So if you're one of those people, again, who avidly watches Homes Under the Hammer, nothing wrong with that. If you're one of those people who avidly watches Location, nothing wrong with that. But I want you to understand that the influence such shows have on you can have an impact, okay? Hashtag impact properties, but can have an impact in terms of how you perceive and how you see yourself as you're active in property. And I want you to bear that in mind because it plays a specific part. Now, I think it will be really, really strong and helpful for me to start today's show by really sharing with you guys kind of my holistic view on estate agents. Okay, now Philip Spencer is not an estate agent, but that's going to bring us nicely round to what we are talking about today in terms of what we have found as a common ground that we actually agree on. Now, here goes. my extensive view, my expansive view, okay, I can go into a lot more detail. But again, this is something I usually do with coaching clients because we have a lot more time. But my extensive view on estate agents is really, my holistic view is really, why do I need to work with an estate agent when I can actually work with people? Okay, and I want you to write that down because I want you to think about that for a minute. Okay, because I come across so many people who don't really take time to think about that concept. Okay, why? I'm going to say it again. Why do I need to work with an estate agent when I can work with people? Now, does that mean I do not work with estate agents? No, it doesn't mean that. Okay. If you've been watching this show for a while, if you watch more than 1 or 2 episodes of the Impact Show, you will know that I work with estate agents. I've been working with estate agents for years. I used to work as an estate agent. Okay. So I got a lot of love for estate agencies. Okay. I'm currently connected to a number of agents who are in my kind of Rolodex who I work with and connect with. But I want you to understand, okay? I'm looking at the poll right now. It looks like 100% of people have hit the no button. So that's extremely powerful as well. All right, keep them coming, guys. As you tune in, keep sending in your answers to that question because it's very, very interesting. But I'm very much into working with estate agents, but my holistic view, okay, I'm going to share it again. My holistic view around working with estate agents is, why should I if I can work directly with people? Now, the reason I share that and the reason that's important is because of this. You see, if your main mantra when you go into property investing is, I've just got to get these agents ringing me, I've just got to get working with these agents, I've just got to speak to these agents, I'm going to share something with you. Close to 50% of the strategies that I share in this resource are going to become inaccessible to you if that's the way you think. Okay. Now, when I created this resource, 30 ways in 30 days, breaking down 30 separate ways that you can generate revenue using property as a vehicle, I created this resource with the underlying foundation, with the underlying thought process that the people tuning into that resource would be wise enough to understand, or at least know, my holistic expansive view on working with estate agents. And that holistic expansive view is, why should I if I can work with people directly? Okay. Now, I'll say this because I always want it to be clear. Okay. I'm not saying to, go around agents. I don't promote that. It's not something I speak about. So if you're listening to this, if you're tuned in and you think I'm saying, work around agents, or when an agent brings you a deal, cheat the agent out of their commission. No. You've got it all wrong. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. Let's even say it, give a boo for that. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm not talking about that. I do not promote, do not encourage, do not want anybody who's tuning into what we're doing here on this show to think for a moment that they should steal, and that's the way I see it, steal from an estate agent. Do not do that. Or an estate agency. Do not do that. Okay. I don't do that. I'm not interested in that, and I don't want to encourage that. Okay. And just for there to be clarity, guys, I used to work as an estate agent. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. I used to work as an estate agent. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because I want you to understand, having worked as an estate agent, I don't believe that estate agents are to be mucked around or their time is supposed to be wasted. I don't believe in that. Okay, but I just want it to be clear that I do believe, okay, that what we should do is invest in building relationships with people that we can work with directly, so that we don't have to use estate agents, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the way I operate. That's my expansive view. Okay, now with all that being said, let me share with you guys a story to help you guys understand exactly why I say what I'm saying, and why I've said to you guys that my expansive view, okay, is actually, you know what, I don't think expansively. It's all about working with estate agents. Okay, this is just me, guys, being transparent with you. Okay, so let's go into it. So a number of years ago, I guess it's a number of years ago now, I was in a situation where I was in the process of buying a house, okay? And in this period where I was in the process of buying this particular house I'm talking about, I was working with an estate agent. And I'm going to be very, very transparent with you because I want you to understand how powerful this is. So the estate agent I was working with was a very close contact, great guy, you know, always helpful, always going out of his way to say, you know what, Samuel, I think we could put the offer in, you know, I think what you've done as your calculations is a great idea. I think you're kind of spot on in terms of what the vendor's looking for, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so the reason I'm speaking in this language, guys, is because I know some of you who work with agents on a regular basis, you know what I'm talking about. You know, that's how the agents work. That's how the agents talk. They'll, you know, yeah, you know, when they're on board. Let me put it that way. So I had an agent who was literally on board, 100%. And the thing that was funny is this agent actually wanted me to get this particular property. The agent did everything in his power to help me get the property, okay? We put in an offer, which was extremely competitive. It was actually the offer that the vendor said they wanted. We did everything. We did everything right, okay? And I want to say this because I want you to understand that doing everything right is not always the only key. Okay, but anyway, we did everything right. Okay, so what happened when we did everything right? Well, this is what happened. We did everything right and we didn't get that property, that specific property. Okay, the question you are probably asking yourself is why? And I hope you've got your pen and paper handy, ready. Hope you got your notepad and stylus, your iPad and stylus ready so you can write down exactly why we didn't get that property. Okay, we didn't get the property because although the estate agent wanted me to get the property, although the estate agent was with me to get the property, although the estate agent was doing everything within their power for me to get the property, although all of that was taking place, one thing didn't line up. The actual vendor didn't want us to get the property. The actual vendor didn't want to sell to me, didn't want to sell to us. Okay, now this is an extremely important factor because it helps you guys understand why I shifted to an approach where I don't necessarily go out of my way to work with estate agents, because I understand that there are ways I could potentially work without having the estate agents involved. Okay, and I want you guys to think about that. You know, think about the value of that. Think about the fact that you could spend whatever it is, I don't know, £400 each year, okay, in your ability to engage agents. You're probably spending a lot more. I've had coaching clients who are spending hundreds of pounds a month just to engage agents in their desired area on a regular basis. Now, you could be one of those people who's doing that, who on a regular basis are engaging estate agents for them to buy into you and buy into what you've got in your mind. Okay. And guys, look, let me know what your thoughts are about what I'm saying. Let me know if you've had that experience similar to myself, where the agent was on your side, you were on your side, but the seller didn't want to sell to you, or the seller just didn't want to sell at that time, or wherever it might have been. I don't know. You tell me your situation in the live chat or in the comments below if you're tuning in on a replay. But guys, this was the situation. Seller didn't want to sell to me. So what I actually realized from that is, you know what, the £300-400 that I could be spending / investing, depending on how you want to see it, that I could be investing every single month in order to engage the 30, 12, 4, 5, 20, however many local estate agents you have on a regular basis. The £300-400 that I could spend every single month that I could use in order to send them donuts, as many of these property coaches teach. Okay, many property coaches will tell you, you know, send the estate agents donuts, you know, give them gifts. And look, some of that stuff I've done, guys. Listen, I'm not saying it to say it's wrong. I'm not saying it to say it doesn't work, but this is the common mantra that many people will tell you. You see, all of the funds, the revenue, the money you're going to use to do all of that, you could actually reinvest that money into your own direct marketing campaigns, which is the stuff we talk about on our online sourcing blueprint program. Okay, and the reason we talk about that is because we have found that that is the most effective way to get yourself in front of people. Okay, people who are in a position to actually make a decision. Okay, and I used to work in sales, you know, years ago. And when I used to work in sales as an estate agent, one of the things I learned is that you always want to deal with the decision maker. You don't want to deal with 100 people who can't make a decision. You don't want to deal with the sales negotiator, the receptionist, and the estate agent manager if none of those three people can actually make the decision about, yes, you can buy the house, and yes, you can buy it at this price. Okay, and I'm just being honest with you. Now, estate agents are very intelligent people, many of them, okay? Not all of them, but many of them. And because many of them are very intelligent, they have found a way, or they find ways to be able to put forward their suggestions very strongly, okay? And I'm just sharing with you guys what I've seen in my experience, okay? But nevertheless, even though that is the case, I still want you guys to understand that even though an estate agent can be extremely persuasive in helping somebody make a decision on who's going to buy their property, they are still not the decision maker. And by virtue of the fact that they're not the decision maker, one of the things I want you guys to really key into and really be mindful of is the simple fact that by them not being the decision maker means you could still end up spending more time on a deal that's not going to be yours, versus when you deal directly with the decision maker. So these are things I want you to think about. So that experience I had in the story I shared with you guys a moment ago about when I was attempting to purchase a property, the estate agent was on my side, I was on my side, but the seller didn't want to sell to me, was the experience that really ingrained it to me that, look, Samuel, you can work with agents, you can do whatever you want with estate agents, but listen, my man, do one thing. Listen, young lady, listen, my sister, listen, my auntie, listen, my cousin, listen, my friend, listen, my neighbor, whoever you are tuning into this, I want you to understand the epiphany, the wake up call, the light bulb that I got. Okay, what sound can we do for that? I don't even know what sound we have for that. Let's just use the hallelujah, whatever, the epiphany that I got. Okay, I want to share it with you. I want you to have that too. Okay, because you don't want to be in a situation where you are ready, you believe, yes, you know what, I understand, this is my deal, this is my time, this is my season, I'm gonna have it, I got to have it, but for some reason, the seller, for some reason the agent, for some reason whoever it is, the cleaner, for some reason it ends up being for you
access denied.
You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. So this is one of the reasons why I say to people, you know what, deal with people directly. Get in front of their face. Become the person who can speak directly to the particular individual who's going to be selling their property, and see if you can strike a deal with them. See if you can create an opportunity, which is what we call a win-win, a win for them and a win for you. Because if you can create and structure a win-win, you will be able to buy as many properties as you want. If you're able to engage with a direct seller and create a win-win, you can buy as many properties as you want. And you guys, hopefully you can probably hear how passionate I am about this and about doing these things directly, okay? But that's not what today's show is all about. So let me stop indoctrinating you guys with my philosophy on it. And let me shift into something which is more relevant to what I really wanted to discuss with you guys on today's show, okay? Now, on today's show, we're not talking about the way I see things differently, specifically, or per se, should I say. We're actually talking about the things that I see which are the same, okay, as the TV personality, okay, Phil Spencer, from Location. And the reason we're doing that is because I want you guys to understand how this stuff works. I want you guys to have a strong mind around, just how things move and how things can work for you, all right? So this is Phil's view as reported by The Express. I'm going to bring this onto the screen so you guys can see it. If you're just tuning in now, as mentioned, there is a poll in the chat. For those of you who are with us live, feel free to jump into that poll. Not literally, but complete the answers in the poll so we will know exactly what your thoughts are in terms of the question that we've asked and the team have put together in the chat. Now, let's jump in and read this article that The Express shared recently for you guys to see exactly where we are with this, okay? So it says, Phil Spencer shares estate agent warning. They're trained to win your trust. Let's go in. This article was written on the 14th of July, which was Wednesday just gone. So again, guys, hope you really see the power of this as I break down to you exactly what me and Phil Spencer definitely agree on as it pertains to estate agents. So it says Phil Spencer has shared a warning over estate agents. The property expert said some estate agents are trained to win your trust. Let's go deeper into the article so you guys can see exactly where all of this comes from. I believe that's actually an advert. Okay. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's part of the article. Okay, it goes on to say, apologies, guys. Phil Spencer will appear on Kirsty and Phil's Love It or List It this evening alongside fellow property expert Kirsty Allsop. The duo, who also co-present Channel 4's Location, will be looking back at some of their favorite. That is definitely an ad. Thank you. All right. I think they made the ad very long in this. Okay, cool. Here it goes. So it talks about the video. It says in this video, which is the video above in the article, which again, guys, link in the description to this article and all of the other things that you need when you engage on this show. It says in the video, Phil shared a simple tip that can completely change the process of buying a property. Okay, a simple tip that can completely change the process of buying a property. Like, guys, sometimes I do find this mainstream media information quite comedic. Okay, and when I say comedic, the predominant reason I find a lot of this stuff comedic is because you're reading stuff, you're hearing stuff, you're seeing stuff that you get told every episode on this show. You've been getting told for years, for a long time here. But again, nonetheless, let's keep going. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they never knew or something like that. All right, in the video, Phil shared a simple tip that can completely change the process of buying a property. He said, we all know that home buying can be super stressful, but he has one simple tip that can transform the process. Make friends with your estate agent, okay? Now, some of you will know of the video, my short video. I think the video was less than 10 minutes long. It might have been an 8-minute video that we put out on our channel about 4 weeks ago. Okay, and in that video we were talking about exactly this point right here. Okay, and I want you to bear that in mind, because I want you to be mindful of the fact that this channel has given you this value. Okay, this channel is consistently giving you that value. All right, if you, I don't know, you might be giving us a little round of applause where you're at right now. That's all good. Okay, but guys, I want you to bear that in mind. Okay, we're giving you the value, not necessarily the same way the mainstream media does. All right, so there's quite a bit here, so I want to go into it and give you guys all of the insights, not only from this article, but also that I wanted to share with you guys for today's show. So it says in this video, Phil shared a simple tip that can completely change the process of buying a property. He said, we all know that home buying can be super stressful, but he has one simple tip that can transform the process. Make friends with your estate agent. Now, he realizes this might be a revolutionary concept, but like all the best ideas, it's simple and it works. Okay, it goes on to say most agents are just decent people trying to get to pay their own mortgages. So if you are very, very nice to them and you build up a good working relationship, believe him, they're much less likely to see you walk away with a dumb house. Okay, going on into the article for you guys to get even more insights, it goes on to say when you're buying a house, information is power, and this is why we always tell you on this channel to do your due diligence. Okay, it goes, make sure you are as clued up as possible about the area, about the prices and values, about the whole property buying process. However, Phil also said buyers need to be careful with how much information they share with estate agents. He goes on to say, while an estate agent will try their best to get you what you want for the best price, they are trained to win your trust. Okay, I hope people are tuning into this, because I get people who watch our show, I get people who watch the videos I make on the channel, the short videos, the 8 minutes, the 12-minute videos, and I get people sometimes who engage with this content, but they don't understand this stuff. And I've told you guys this stuff. I used to work as an estate agent over 10 years ago. When I worked as an estate agent, these things are things you pick up in the industry and you start to understand, oh, so this is what we're supposed to do. Oh, this is how we actually get a sale. Okay. Want you to understand that. Let's keep going, guys. There's so much more to share with you. And guys, look, let me say this. If you haven't hit share on this video and you're getting value, feel free to write the word value in the chat. But side by side with that, feel free to share this video with other people in your community who you think could get value from this. And hopefully they can also move further faster in their property investing journey. Now, let's keep going, okay? Let's keep going. This is interesting. All right. So it goes on to say, okay, when you're buying a house, information is power. Make sure you are clued up as possible about the area, about the prices and values, about the whole property buying process effectively. However, Phil also said buyers need to be careful with how much information they share with estate agents. While an estate agent will try their best to get you what you want for the best price, they are trained to win your trust. Okay, let's go deeper and pull out a few more things before we wrap up on this article. Okay. It goes on to say, Phil explained further, you need estate agents on side so you get early information on the best properties. Okay, hope you're listening to this. Phil says that, but there is a caveat. Do be a little bit careful how much you let slip. Good estate agents are excellent relationship builders, but do just try and remember that they are in sales and they are trained to win your trust. It's often said that more than 70% of buyers spend 20% more than they ever set out to. Okay, I'm going to read that statement again because I want you to understand the power of that. It's often said, apologies, we're further down than I wanted to be. It's often said that more than 70% of buyers spend 20% more than they ever set out to. Let me ask this question. Are you trying to be the 30%? Okay, are you trying to be the 30%? Philip Spencer is telling you here that 70% of people are spending 20% more than they're supposed to. Are you trying to be the 30% or the 70%? Let me know in the chat. Okay, let me know in the chat. I've got Nicola from FP Comms in the chat. She says, hi, Samuel. Hi, Nicola. Great to have you on today's show. Guys, let me know in the chat. Are you trying to be the 30%? Or are you trying to be the 70%? You just write the word 30 or 70. Okay, in this example, hopefully you're trying to be the 1% or the 2%, if you know what I'm talking about. But let me know, are you trying to be the 70% or the 30%? Okay, let me see that in the chat. The 70% or the 30%. So let's keep going. There's a little bit more that I wanted to read to you guys before we jump off from today's show. It says, this is the reason why estate agencies take you to places that you can't afford, hoping that you fall in love with one and throw caution to the wind. On the specific episode that was happening that night, Love It or List It, Kirsty and Phil will be looking back at the home. Apologies. Let's get that lined up. We'll be looking back at a home in North Tyneside, which is near Newcastle, another in Rushden, and also in Northamptonshire. Okay, now, one of the things I want to share with you guys is just how powerful the stuff they're sharing are. Okay, because this is being shared by Philip Spencer, TV personality, okay, which many of us know from Location. And 2 days ago, you can see the kind of comments that are coming through. Hopefully you can see. I don't want to read them out, but you can see the kind of comments that are going through. Okay. That is basic information. Okay. This person said they ignore estate agents, don't listen to a word they say. Okay. Guys, I wanted to share this with you because I want you guys to understand how this stuff actually works. I want you to understand that, look, you know, I was told this adage years ago, and I'll share it with you guys for you guys to get exactly what I'm talking about. They say not all that glitters is gold. Okay, not all that glitters is gold. So many people think, well, the estate agent said this, so that's the fact. Okay, myself and Philip Spencer, according to that report, agree on this one thing. That if you are going to work with estate agents, and I've shared with you guys earlier on in the show, my expansive view, my holistic view is why I work with estate agents when you can work directly with people. But if you are going to work with estate agents, then I'm gonna have to agree with Philip Spencer and encourage you guys, like I have encouraged you on previous videos, like I have encouraged you on our short video that we created and released a few weeks ago, like I have encouraged you on every single live stream. Guys, what you need to do is befriend the agent. Now, one of the things people don't realize is that befriending estate agents is not the easiest thing to do. Okay, it comes with its challenges. It has its setbacks, its drawbacks. Okay, especially if you're the kind of person who, like me, you were raised as kind of like an introvert. You're not very much into sharing information with people in that way, etc., etc., etc. And this is something you guys need to become accustomed to. And if you are accustomed to that, that will help you move forward in your journey. Excuse me, guys, we had a interruption take place in the show. But like I was saying, basically, you need to get to that place where you start to understand, you know what, the estate agent has to be my friend. The estate agent has to be my direct connection in order for me to take full advantage in this particular situation. And for so many people, they don't do that. For so many people, they go into it thinking that they can be risk neutral with the estate agent and still get maximum value, maximum results out of that scenario. Now, as I've shared with you guys, I say it all the time, I would encourage you to go direct. If you have the ability, go direct. That's the way to actually move forward. And what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to share with you guys our key resource for today's episode. And then after sharing with you guys our key resource for today's episode on the show, I'm then going to share with you lessons that you should actually take from this scenario. So for those of you who haven't gone and got a copy of the Sourcing Blueprint ebook, it's absolutely free. I want to encourage you to go to the link right here at the bottom of the screen, which is sourcingblueprint.com, and get your free sourcing blueprint. This ebook is going to break down for you the 4 key simple steps in order for you to secure your own great property deals. Okay, no more do you need to wait on someone else to tell you how you can find great property deals. Go get your free ebook right here from that link, sourcingblueprint.com, and start getting your own great deals yourself. All right, now if you're mindful of the things that I share with you guys in that key resource, the Sourcing Blueprint, which I have been giving away for free for how many months, how many weeks, how many years, okay, what you guys will understand is that you can use that blueprint to start finding your own deals, to start working with people directly, to be in a space where you're no longer relying solely on the estate agent. Now, again, like I said, I still work with estate agents. I work with a number of estate agents, but I'm more in a space right now where I want to encourage people to actually find ways where they're not holistically reliant on the estate agent, where they're not in positions where if it's not the estate agent, it's not going to happen. Okay, I don't want you to be in that predicament. I want you to be the kind of person who understands, you know what, even if I wasn't going to work with an estate agent, I'm still going to be successful in my property investing journey because I understand what I'm doing. I understand how to do what I'm doing, and I understand who I'm doing it with. I'm looking for people. I'm not looking for property. Okay, that's a great note to write down. You're looking for people, you're not looking for property. And the moment you understand that, you'll understand that the estate agent is not of a dire necessity to you, but actually the occupant, the actual seller of that property, is the person you really need to engage with. So let's jump into some keys, some lessons for you to take from this. Okay, what are some of the lessons for you to take from this? Now, the first thing I want to say is if you plan to, I'm premising all of this with if you plan to, okay? If you plan to, all right? Because some people are working with estate agents just because they believe that's what you're supposed to do. That's what they've always heard. That's what they've always believed. That's just why they work with estate agents. Let me say this statement again. If you plan to work with an estate agent, because you don't have to work with an estate agent. So I'll say it one more time, if you plan to. That's what I'm premising all of these lessons I'm about to share with you with, if you plan to work with estate agents. Now, if you're one of those people who plan to work with estate agents, what are some of the lessons we could take away from what we've read in the article, from Phil's stance, from my own stance, etc., etc., etc.? I would say with you, the first thing you need to do is know what you are doing. Okay? That's the first lesson that is obvious here. Okay? Now, when I say know what you're doing, what do I mean? Well, let me start with this. What I mean is, well, are you trying to be one of the 70% who are trying to pay whatever the estate agent is trying to get you to pay? Are you trying to be one of the 70% who, when an estate agent takes you to a more expensive property, you say, okay, yes, I'll go to a more expensive property? Guys, let me add this to you. If you haven't seen our video about estate agents, you need to go watch that video, okay? Because that video is going to really help you. That video is going to help you understand the difference between what most people go through when they're looking for a property and what you should be going through, what I go through when I'm looking for a property to buy, okay? Now, the reason this is so important is for several reasons, but one of the reasons I'll give you guys on the show for the sake of time is that you have to know what you're doing so you don't end up being one of those 70% people. You don't want to be one of those people who are paying above the odds, okay? And in that video that we did, the short video on estate agencies, which I'll talk about in a moment, but in that video, that's one of the things we speak about. We share in that video something extremely powerful. We share in that video the simple fact that you need to be the kind of person who understands what you are doing. What is your intention? What is your agenda? If you know you're trying to buy properties at a specific price, which look like a specific, framework in order for you to achieve a specific goal, you need to be championing that ideology. You need to be pushing that through. You need to remember, when you are an investor, you become the architect of your activity. You become the person who's drawing up your plan, who's saying, well, look, this is what we're trying to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is the route we're going through, etc., etc. Think of yourself when you are, if you commit, if you're that person who's committed, okay? You've done our 21 days of your property investing success, or maybe, you've already been investing in property before you met me. If you're someone who's committed to investing in property, the first thing you need to do is make sure you understand what you're doing. What is your roadmap? Take on the baseball cap of the architect. Be the architect of your property investing journey. Don't allow your property investing journey to be designed by a stranger, by someone else, by someone who maybe doesn't have your best interest at heart, because this is extremely important stuff, okay? So the first thing is know what you're doing, okay? And again, as I mentioned, we've shared exactly about how you can get to understand what you're doing in our previous video on the one thing your estate agent won't tell you, which again, I'll talk about later. 2 more lessons we take away. Second lesson, you don't have to work with estate agents, okay? Now, for some people who tune into this show, that might be an epiphany to them, okay? If you're brand new, that might be an epiphany to you. This might be the first time you've ever heard you can buy a house without using an estate agent, okay? But guys, it's the truth. You do not have to use an estate agent, okay? I'll even go deeper because some people don't know this. You don't even need to use a solicitor in order to buy a house, okay? The process that's used legally to buy a house is the conveyancing process. And there are conveyancers out there who are not actually practicing solicitors, okay? So what does that mean? That means you can actually buy a house without using a solicitor and without using an actual estate agent, okay? So Samuel might be sharing some stuff that you've never heard of before. If you didn't know this stuff, just put IDK, I didn't know, in the chat, okay? That's the new generation. For those of you who are old school like me and didn't know, IDK stands for I don't know, or I didn't know, okay? So let me know in the chat if you didn't know that you can actually buy a house without the use of a solicitor and also without the use of a specific estate agent. Let me know that you didn't know in the chat, because then I know that me sharing this stuff is of value to you guys. And again, if you're getting value, write the word value in the chat if you haven't hit the like button already. So these are things you need to understand. The second lesson that we will take away from this is that you need to understand you don't have to work with an estate agent. Okay, so not only do you need to know what you're doing when you go into the scenario so you don't end up like the 70%, but secondarily, you need to be someone who understands, okay, who understands, because you know what you're doing, you don't even have to work with estate agents. If you want, you can work with human beings directly. You can circumvent the role of the estate agent by working with an individual directly who has a desire, a passion, an interest to sell their property, and hopefully to you for a price that makes sense and thus becomes a win-win. Okay, now there are so many benefits. Again, like I said, I don't want to drill into it, but there are so many benefits that we get from not using estate agents. Okay, one of them is the fee. Okay, so sellers are traditionally charged a fee by an estate agent, 1%, 2%, fixed fees. It depends on the agency, how they're set up. But the point is that is an expense the seller doesn't have to commit to when they don't work with an estate agent. They can use those fees, the money they would have gone to fees, to pay for their solicitor. Okay, rather than have to pay for a solicitor and an estate agent, for example. Okay, so this is just stuff I want to share with you guys. I want you guys as a community to be equipped with this information so you don't get the wool pulled over your eyes. Okay, and for those of you who haven't already written in the comments, okay, what I'd love for you guys to do is let us know in the chat. Okay, and if you haven't done the poll question, okay, because the poll question as well is a great way for us to understand exactly what you guys think about mainstream media, about TV personalities like Philip Spencer, and what they actually are promoting, if it's not necessarily property investment as it really works. Okay, so I'm interested in knowing that. I'm interested in finding that out. Okay, so first lesson we take away from the article, and also not only from the article, side by side with the article, also from my share with you guys about my holistic view on property investing. The first lesson we take away is that you need to know what you're doing so you don't end up like the 70% of people who end up spending 20% more than they originally planned to when they go out to buy property. The second lesson we took away is that you guys need to understand that you don't necessarily have to work with an estate agent. Third lesson, okay, and probably the most profound lesson and probably the most paramount lesson as we think about our relationship with estate agents, how we can get to a space where what we are hearing, which is quite important to me as a coach, but what we are hearing and as an investor from the estate agents we do work with or the sellers we do work with is this term right here.
Access granted.
That's right. Access granted. So how do we get to a place where we're actually hearing from sellers, Samuel, access granted, I want to sell to you? How do we get to a place where we're actually hearing from estate agents, Samuel, you know what? They've accepted your offer. You know, you're going to be able to move forward. And this comes back to the story I shared with you guys earlier, which is why I shared the story. I was in a predicament. I went through an agent. The agent wanted me to have the house. I wanted me to have the house. The seller didn't want to sell the house to me. Third lesson we take from this is if the seller doesn't choose you, you don't get chosen. And I want you to clearly understand that. Okay. I have yet to come across someone who has bought a house from someone who didn't want to sell it to them. Okay. Now, if you've gone and become devious and bought the house through means of someone else as a secondary entity, that's completely different. But the point is, naturally and genuinely, I am yet to come across someone in my 15 plus years of investing in property, being involved in property, being in the industry, being as an estate agent, etc., etc. I'm telling you guys, I'm yet to find someone who's been able to buy a property from a vendor, from a seller who did not want to sell it to them. Now, I'm not talking about, oh, I don't think I want to sell it to you. I'm talking about who was adamant that they would not be selling to that specific individual. Okay. So why is that important? Well, the reason that's important as a lesson to take from this is to help you understand how you should go about your property investing journey. Should you go about your property investing journey thinking that, you know what, it's all about working with the agent. It's all about whatever the agent says. It's all about just doing whatever the agent wants them to do. I got Nicola from FP Comms who says in the chat, IDK, she didn't know. And IDK, she didn't know what IDK meant either. So a double win. I love it. Nicola, thank you for sharing. So powerful. Nicola, this is one of the reasons, and guys, this is for all of you guys on the stream. This is one of the reasons why, one, we did episode 65 last week talking about the next generation of property investing success. But two, whenever I do use what I seem to believe is modern acronyms or modern slogans, euphemisms, whatever they are, I try my best to share what they are, because I learned this in education when I used to work as a teacher, that not everybody knows what everybody knows. And it's funny because there was a time I had to learn what IDK meant, when people would text me IDK and I'd be like, what does that actually mean? And a lot of the stuff I actually learned from Mrs. Ikhinmwin. She teaches me that means I don't know, or I didn't know, I don't know, basically. So again, glad to have been of service and of value to you, Nicola, in that regard. But again, this is where we are at, and this is the environment we are in. I got a comment from Yogesh. Yogesh says, to buy a house, you just need a transfer document signed by seller and buyer. And that's absolutely correct. There's a few other steps that have to go on as well, which is why you do need a conveyancer. There are a few other steps, such as lodging your actual title deeds with the land registry and so forth and so forth. So there's a few other things that do take place. But again, as Yogesh said, it's fairly simple. It's not as complicated as people actually think to buy a house. The actual paperwork is not as complicated as people think. But you will never know this unless you knew somebody who knew it. Okay, so again, guys, this is why this stuff is so important, because you don't want to be someone who thinks they know but doesn't really know. There's a powerful verse in the Bible which always reminds me about why you need to stay humble and why I try my best to always live in all humility. And that verse in the Bible says, he who thinks he knows not what he ought to know. Okay, so all of those people using the IDK need to understand that sometimes, we don't know the thing that is important for us to know, especially when we really do think we know something. Okay, so that's really, really important, guys, for us to keep in mind. So those are the 3 lessons I wanted to take away before we wrap up today's show, and just give you guys that value before we go into a few of the other things, the announcements and things that we've got of value for you on today's show. But guys, I want to share those 3 lessons with you. I want you to really understand those 3 lessons. The first one, guys, know what you're doing. Don't end up like the 70% of people who overpay for property, or who pay more than they expected and plan to pay for property. So that's the first one. Don't be like the 70%. The second one, understand you don't have to use an estate agent. You can work with sellers directly. Okay, it's a very powerful and profound key. But guys, I want you to understand that. I want you guys who spend your time investing here, being a part of this community on the Impact Property channel, to understand exactly how this works, guys. You see, it's very important to know this, that you don't have to actually work with an estate agent. And the third key, as we shared with you guys earlier, is for you guys to put yourself in the best position in order to move further, faster in your property investing journey. Okay, so guys, I want you to use all of the keys we've shared on today's show in order for you to continually move forward. Don't be the person who just thinks you have to use an estate agent, but rather be the person who understands that estate agents can be used but don't have to be used. All right, guys, with all of that being said, I want to say a big thank you to all of you guys who have reached out to me. Let me know about your small wins, your big wins, your medium wins, whatever size you deem those wins as it pertains to your property investing journey. I've been reached out to by so many people in the last week in terms of things that they're doing, in terms of results that they're getting. And guys, I'm always astounded and appreciative when you guys reach out to me in any platform, whether it's on our Facebook group, again, links in the description, whether it's through means of, donations. We get people who make donations, financial donations, and write comments on there about, oh, Samuel, thank you, this is what you've done. So guys, I want to appreciate you guys for those of you who have let us know when you're winning, whether your win is big, whether your win is small. Also, those of you who have donated to the channel at any time, any shape, any form, guys, we want to appreciate you, as well as those who have jumped into our Amazon wish list. All the links in the description, can share them with you if you guys would like. Just write the word link in the chat. But again, those of you who have done those things, we really appreciate you as always. And those of you who have subscribed to the channel and also written comments on our additional videos, we just want to share with you guys some great appreciation. You guys are helping this channel to grow so more people can find the value that is here. Guys, we've got a subscription goal of 3,000 subscribers. That's what we're working towards. So be a part of that journey by helping us hit that goal by recommending this channel to people you know who you think would actually be interested in this kind of property content. But more importantly, not only the content, the actual conversation. You know, some of the conversation we have in the live chat, guys, that's the kind of conversation that you want taking place. You want to develop, you want to understand, you want to know more, you want to be more, you want to have more. And the way that all of that happens is basically by engaging with other people who are on a similar or the same property investing journey. So guys, I want you to be one of those people who take advantage of that, and the way to take advantage of that is by letting other people know about this and bringing them into this community. So guys, let us know if that's something of interest to you, and if it is, go out there and share this content with other people. Now, for those of you, I'll throw the links in the chat for the key resource, and also for everybody else who is rocking with us, just so that they know that they can utilize this stuff in order to help themselves move forward. Oh my gosh, I got some powerful comments coming through. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you guys for your comments. Appreciate you. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in supporting the studio build that we are doing for our brand new content creation studio, feel free to go and check out the link that we've just thrown in the chat. You can go to our Amazon wish list and grab one or two of the resources there. They will be sent directly to our new content creation studio, so we can continue to build that out to give you guys even more content on your property investing journey. For those of you who saw the key resource, if you haven't gone and got that already, go and get that right now. I'm telling you guys, that key resource is going to help you move further faster in your property investing journey. When you grab that sourcing blueprint ebook, that helps you move forward in massive ways. And last but not least, for those of you who are interested in paying it forward and jumping into the comments with your questions, all you need to do is put the £sign before your question and make sure that you use that link, impactproperties.co.uk/donate, and donate and pay it forward for the community in that regard. Okay, I've got a comment from my man Prince Anor. He says, definitely true, we bought our last purchase from a seller directly. Now that's extremely powerful, and it doesn't surprise me because Prince is one of the guys who have been on our 12-month coaching program. So Prince knows exactly how it works. He knows exactly how we explain it to work with people. So Prince, a great big congratulations to you and your family, and also to your whole property team, because I know that you're going to keep winning as long as you keep using those principles. And guys, this is exactly what it's about. What I want you guys to do is don't be the novices. Don't be the people who are overpaying for property. Don't be the people who, when you should be investing 100,000 on a deal, you're actually investing 120,000 on a deal because an estate agent pulled the wool over your eyes. Instead, be the people who are moving further faster in your property investing journey because you know exactly what you are doing. Guys, this is what it's all about. Please bear that in mind. This is what it's all about. Now, it's interesting, I just mentioned Prince, who was a part of our 12-month coaching program a number of years ago. Prince, let me know in the chat if you remember what year you did our 12-month program with us. It was a while now, but again, one of our model students. But guys, in light of what Prince has just shared, in light of what I've just shared, for those of you who are part of my free 99 bunch, the guys who love to get value but love to get it all for free, I'm going to throw in the chat a link for you to be able to get some more free content, because guys, I know some of you love the free content. You can go to impactproperties.co.uk/day1 and you can get our 21 days of your property investing success training absolutely free. We delivered that content via live stream for 21 days on this channel here in January, from the 1st to the 21st of January. All of the content is up still. I know the team have spoken to me about taking it down, but it's up for now, so take full advantage of it. impactproperties.co.uk/day1. Go and gobble that content up, guys. Go and use that content to help you move further faster in your property investing journey. Now, for those of you who want to develop the channel, for those of you who want to support in moving the channel forward even more, we've got our donate link in the chat as well. My man Prince sends his comment in. He says, I think it was 2018. I think you're right, Prince. So well done for your success in that 12 months and also your continued success. It's always great seeing you develop in your journey. Now, guys, as I wrap up, what I want to ask you is a key question. I want you guys to let me know whether you're watching on the replay, okay? Whether you are watching on the replay or whether you are actually with us here live, if you've made it to the end. What I want you to let me know in the chat is, what value did you take away from this episode? What value did you take away from this episode? And this is for staying all the way to the end, guys. Let me know if you're new to the channel, or if you're someone who's been here before, if you're watching live, or if you're someone who's coming on a replay. Let me know the answer to this question below in the chat for staying to the end. What value did you actually take from this specific episode? Guys, it is always a pleasure to spend time with you and help you guys move further faster in your property investing journey. And with that being said, I just want to encourage you one last time to go and watch this video right here if you're very interested in understanding how to utilize more property investing success as you work with estate agents. And the way you could do that is very, very simple. All you need to do is understand how to work with estate agents in order to move yourself forward in your property investing journey. And guys, if you're willing to do that, your whole property investing life can change. So as I said, holistically, I think you should look for people instead of property. But if you are going to work with estate agents, go watch this video right here. It's going to tell you exactly how to do that. I'll see you on the next one. Happy investing.